Greetings and salutations. My name is Hallow. I have been completely negligent about this show. I can't believe it. I really can't. I mean, I have to look away in disbelief. Yeah, I'm so backed up with show content that I'm just gonna have to call it a wash, and just start with the here and now, and then I can retro things when memory lane grabs me. So, yeah, initially I was excited to talk about getting heart stress test done. A chemical stress test is really wild, and then echocardiogram, I did that the same day, but I've done those a few times now, or I want the results of them, but the process isn't new anymore. But I also had the weekend of the crazy bloody nose, and then just everything went to hell in a handbasket, you could say. My health really took a nosedive March, April. My body wasn't responding to diuretics. I developed AFib at some point. They can't tell me when at this point in time. So in May, I had to be hospitalized for, I think it was I was up to 30 pounds of fluid packing on me that I couldn't get off. And then that's when they discovered the AFib and talked about the AFib, and I had all these med changes that it took a while to adjust them, and I was really messed up for a while. I had low blood pressure anyway when they took all the liquid off me, which is normal. Whenever I get, my blood pressure is really tied to how much lymphatic fluid is collecting in my legs and torso. So yeah, there's so much to talk about from spring, I guess. But I was in the hospital for 2 weeks where they were dealing with that, and then this crazy out of nowhere left field thing happened by June. And that's the first time in my life I've been in the hospital back-to-back months like that. So that was not pleasant either. That was scary. I was a week in June for cellulitis in my thigh. The back of my thigh had started leaking. The professionals call it weeping, but I don't know. I'm not feeling that term. It's leaking. Lymphatic fluid's leaking out of your flesh, man. That's what's happening. So it makes you vulnerable to MRSA or infections. And then it's harder to keep it clean and maintain it when it's on the back. I suppose your ass would also be a vulnerable spot too. Thank God I don't have lymphedema in my ass, because my ass is pretty big on its own. So yeah, all this craziness. But that's not why I started this video. Like I said, I kind of have to you get to a point where you keep putting things off and think you're going to catch up, but the summer was even more intense than the spring with the hospital visits. And it's a domino effect on my entire life, domino ripple effect on all my life. So I'm really screwed financially right now too, because I haven't been able to get income in. I've not been doing well. So yeah. I keep saying I just want to talk about today. Like I said, I'm going to just start from today, and I just need to go. I need to have a goal too, regardless of how I want things to be, or if I want to look all pretty and dolled up. That was kind of my goal too. This is so not me, to show the world my no makeup face and flat ass, dirty ass hair. But fuck it, man, y'all. It's better than being 6 feet underground. So, my teeth problem, that's another drama. That was before Christmas that started, so I think I have talked about it. It got postponed, derailed by the hospital visits, and then luckily it wasn't rearing its ugly head. So a couple weeks ago, it came back with a fury on the opposite side. It was this side before Christmas. And you guys, oh my God, it's so intense. So it's in the back with the jaw. So moving your jaw, whether you're talking or eating, makes it worse. And initially, it was super sensitive to cold. Like, I enjoy my little icy pops, and I enjoy ice cold drinks with lots of ice. And then I'd always been eating on this side of the mouth because of how initially it was on that side of the mouth. So I don't know if this side of the mouth decided to do a full-scale rebellion against me, and I can't blame it. But the pain was crazy intense, where it goes into your ear, goes up your temple, under your jaw. Insane pain. Like, this was way worse than the first time on the other side. And nobody could really do anything for me. I talked to 3 offices: my PCP's office, my cardiologist's office, and my dentist's office. Initially, my dentist did prescribe me a week of antibiotics, and it didn't make it go away. So that was kind of scary. And now she was, and it's fair, I haven't physically been able to go to doctor's appointments because of all these other things that have been happening. And then transportation is really bad. That's what the story's about today. I can't stress enough, you guys, don't underestimate the power of your health and the power and independence and freedom being able to be independently mobile gives you, being able to drive yourself, being able to walk, get in and out of a vehicle. All these things really contribute to how often you get to leave your house. So I'm medically homebound still, kind of like I started to be during the pandemic. Even though now I have Medicaid and I have all these services available to me, there's still a bunch of obstacles unforeseen. So getting things straightened out, thought everything was getting straightened out, working on it. The cardiologist said they won't approve. I have to get an oral surgeon. I have 6 teeth that need to be extracted. I have to get an oral surgeon. That's what the dentist recommends as safer. Because if anything goes wrong, they have more equipment, more medical training. I respect her for being honest with me about all that. She could do it, but she can only do 2 at a time, and she won't have as many resources if something goes wrong. So the main danger, she told me, is having the congestive heart failure, because I wasn't diagnosed with AFib at that time before, the beginning of the year when I first met with her. The pain relievers and those kind of medications they're going to be giving you to survive the extractions have a tendency to elevate your blood pressure. So people with heart problems, congestive heart failure, what have you, high blood pressure, can be dangerous. So hopefully, I'm not really scared about that anymore. I was initially, but with all the changes with my medications being balanced out, and then I've been just consistently losing weight. I'm at my lowest weight. I traced back a couple years to 2022, my records, and I don't have any records of me being this low of a weight. I know I was a few years ago or whatever, but so as soon as I lose weight, because it's fluid retention and initially, my blood pressure lowers and stabilizes. So hopefully, once I can actually physically get to these offices to get these approvals, it's not going to be that dangerous for me to do it. So I have a transportation company that Medicaid pays for you to have take you to medical appointments. But my cardiologist needs to see me in the office before they approve, and the dentist and the oral surgeon won't touch me without their approval. So there's all this chain of causation and connection that it makes sense on one level, but it really sucks for you if you're in a lot of pain and you can't easily get to these appointments physically. So it was butt ass early in the morning. Not my cup of tea, but I have to do it. So I was ready. I actually, and then they, like the day before, they were telling me to be ready at even an hour earlier than I initially had been told. So I didn't get to do everything I needed. I wanted to do to be ready, but the bare minimum was accomplished. And you guys, when the transportation came, the vehicle, the van, the company, y'all, oh my God. We get to the ramp and he's telling me my chair's too wide. It won't fit on the ramp. And he said that also means if it won't fit on the ramp, it's not going to fit in the van. So I guess he was getting ready for some people to probably tell him, well, let me walk up the ramp, which I sure as hell wasn't going to be able to say that. I can't lift my body up into a car with all my body weight on one leg in a ramp situation. That steep a ramp and long, I don't think it's safe. So it was crazy, you guys. I had to cancel my appointment. All that for nothing and on one level. I didn't get to go. So I still don't know how long it's going to be before I act, because you got to meet your initial assessment with the oral surgeon before they're going to yank these teeth out. It's just insane. All the stuff that's going on and that you got to go through. And a lot of it is based on your safety and keeping you from dying from simple procedures. So you got to appreciate that on one level, but it's still frustrating because I arrange everything in plenty of time. I give everybody notice. So of course, the company that coordinates the Medicaid in my state only allots one company to coordinate Medicaid transports. So they're like a broker kind of scenario where they have some vehicles, but for the most part, they're contracting with other companies. So that was the scenario I was in, where the account I have with the broker company talks about all my issues, and I'm a bariatric patient. I have a bariatric wheelchair. I've got to take an oxygen tank with me, blah, blah, blah. But the guy that is from the van that actually showed up in my driveway, the other company, second company, he say they didn't tell them any of that. So I just thanked him. I didn't go off on anybody. I just try to be cool, working it all out. My fuse has been really short lately because just lots of things have gone wrong in weird ways. But of course, when I talk to the main broker company, they're explaining how they have a manifest. Like, they keep an account of you with all your stipulations and parameters and needs. And they had everything in there. They had, because I set that up in frickin' May or June. I think it was, when I was in the hospital, because I wanted to use them to get home from the hospital. So that was in June, and so they got my weight. They must have, I don't even know how they had like the size of the wheelchair, like inches or whatever, which I don't know that. I must have asked somebody or something, but they had all these details. So what they're explaining is the manifest they put together to give to the broker companies they're contracting with, they didn't read it because it's all the information is there. So basically, each company's blaming the other. The second company's thing makes more sense. But at least I have a game plan. The main company that coordinates gave me a game plan of going an extra step when I'm verifying that my ride is secure. You guys, oh my God. So it's really official today. I am circus fat as hell because I'm so fat. My wheelchair can't even fit in a regular van with a ramp and stuff, regular wheelchair van. But that's weird to me too. Like, why wouldn't you just get an all-purpose fan that can accommodate either size? So it's funny how there's so many of us that are morbidly obese in America, yet we've come a long way in what's available to us in our quality life options, but there's still a real lack of adaptive equipment and options. Because for a long time, like when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, I feel like the mentality was more shame-based for sure, that you shouldn't even be that fat, so why should seats be larger, or why should you have adaptive equipment because you put yourself in that situation. But there's honestly two kinds of fat, as explained to, and the doctors and nurses don't use these terms, I do. Morbidly obese is just such a serious term. I get it. It's dangerous to be fat. I take that seriously, but I can't cry about it every day. So I call myself circus fat. I've got to lighten up my language a little bit. Lighten up the diction, loves. So what would explain to me, there's caloric fat and medical fat. And what I was told is you can tell by looking at somebody's wrists and their neck. So because I've been obsessed with 600-pound life since I joined the morbidly obese community and got congestive heart failure, just trying to understand this group I'm now a part of. And it kind of helps me understand what my problems aren't on some levels. But sodium's my enemy more than sugar and carbs and stuff, because I've always been leery of that shit anyway. I was raised by a dietitian, so I grew up in a pretty regulated, healthy-based household. I mean, we did go out to eat, don't get me wrong. We went to McDonald's, of course, but for the day-to-day, my grandma was really into nutrition and balanced meals and cooking with all kind of vegetables. And so I'm medically fat. I have a neck. It's getting to be a little turkey neck. Look at that turkey neck growing. I am 55. I just turned 55. I'm okay with it. It's an honor and privilege to walk the earth and get to see the world change and all the great things that happen. So I'm okay with getting all wrinkled up and everything. And then my wrists, and actually it's kind of interesting too, I could extend that to your fingers, because there's rings that I can wear now on my fingers that I couldn't wear before I got diagnosed, and I didn't understand why I was puffing up all the time and shit. Sodium is really my enemy, I swear to God, y'all. The worst thing that's happened to me this year was, because sometimes I do want to eat out in a restaurant, and I love people preparing food and bringing it to me, and that's true luxury. And I don't even care. I don't have to be on a fancy plate. I don't have to get dressed up and sit in a fancy restaurant, but it's just awesome when you can do a couple things and then food's brought to your door. So I had actually gotten some Asian food, and I was fooling myself that I was trying to be healthy. I got lettuce wraps, but y'all, I gained 6 pounds overnight when I ate, because it was a big enough portions that you could split it up and make 2 meals of it. So basically my day was the 2 meals of the Asian food. And that's mistake number 1. If you do allow yourself to splurge on the sodium, just make sure other meals you have that day are minimal to no sodium. You know, it's all a balancing act. And then also your weight has to do with it too. If you're gaining regularly, then no, don't do that. I was going to say don't treat yourself, but that's another thing that mentality-wise I personally have to let go of, and a lot of us who are circus fat need to let go of. You have to find other ways. Like, there's so much celebration tied around food. Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, cookouts, you know, Halloween, all these great holidays have all these wonderful foods. And we're always, from a young age, we're inundated with celebrating equaling food. So I personally also need to get away from that. So I have to think of other ways to treat myself. But yeah, I tell you what I really want to do when my money gets straightened out. I really want a freaking Sprite Fire, y'all. I don't even really care. I like Burger King's food, but it's just not good for me now and my current medical issues. I do best, and the reason I keep losing weight is I'm doing lots of homemade cooking from scratch, making my own sauces and using salt-free seasoning and all that good stuff. Because I do eat stuff that's not good for you. I got a bag of onion rings in the freezer. Now, I don't eat them all in one day or whatever, but onion rings are probably one of the most fattening indulgences. But I keep losing weight. So that's the big thing too, to just take care of yourself and monitor that weight. Oh, speaking of, the alarm just went off that it's time to take my torsemide. That's helped too, adjusting my diuretic regimen. And then I also have this really cool super pill at my disposal. If anything goes wrong, if the rule is if I gain 3 pounds overnight or 5 pounds in a week, I can use it. And I've been out since June. It was prescribed to me during my June visit, because they also took, while they were dealing with my cellulitis, they took the time to get my meds all adjusted and worked out, and it's been great. Kudos to my doctors. I really love my hospital doctors. But I haven't had to use it. But in the hospital, they first introduced it to me in May, because even that was scary too. When I went to the hospital in May, that first week, I didn't lose weight. Where the tradition has been since 2017, I always end up going to the hospital every couple years. A couple times I went 2 years in a row, but that's been the trend. And as soon as I'm in their care, whatever they're doing, the IV and whatever, I start dropping the fluid, lots and lots, 30 to 60 pounds during visits. And it was scary because that in May, that first week, I didn't lose anything. It was very weird, and they were even going to transfer me. They were thinking of transferring me to the heart center and the bigger. I go to a small hospital in my town I live in, and they were going to transfer me to the big city hospital. To me, it looks like a big scary monster. It gives me lots of anxiety whenever I look at that building. But they tried this super diuretic, and I lost 30 pounds in 3 days, you guys. That's insane. You don't want to do stuff like that. The doctor's like, okay, we gotta slow down, because then my kidneys start to get upset. And normally my kidneys are pretty mild and good-tempered about everything, but that really pissed them off, so they had to slow it down. So that's why it's a PRN. But yeah, I totally believe the reason I'm continuing to lose weight and have a positive trajectory is all the homemade from scratch food I'm eating. I have some processed food, of course, but that's not the bulk, because it's just so easy to go to them drive-thrus and so easy to get that. Oh my God, I used to love that Stouffer's vegetable lasagna at the grocery store, and I like their regular lasagna, but I really like vegetable lasagna, and it's kind of rare. Not everybody likes it, so not as many places serve it, so that's kind of why it's a special thing to me, where you can get a million different kinds of lasagna from all restaurants and places. But yeah, I love that. I love deli meat so much. I don't let myself eat that regularly. I love hot dogs. There's all kinds of bad processed crap I enjoy that I just don't eat regularly anymore. And I think that's a big part of what's helping me Because it's not just about losing weight, it's about keeping it off. That's what the real goal is, keeping it off, maintaining. That's why you have to really be honest with yourself about what lifestyle choices work for you, because when you go on crazy weird diets and everything, or temporary diets to drop a bunch, it's worthless, and you're actually putting your body and heart under more stress. Because yo-yo dieting, going up and down, gaining, losing, and that's something I have done throughout my youth, is a lot harder on your body. So yeah, I talked about a lot, which is cool, because I haven't done an episode for a while. Like I said, I need to start doing them at least weekly, whether I feel like it or not. And then I've been so sick this year. That's the other part of it. You just get really exhausted just doing the most basic things of your day. And that's why I'm medically disabled, and why I need help with things and stuff, which is hard to admit. It's very hard to admit. But, oh, there's a reminder again. So yeah, I'm officially circus fat. I needed some balloons and a clown nose this morning for my trophy. I couldn't believe it when the dude rolled up in the van and pushing me to the ramp, and then all of a sudden he's like, "It's not gonna fit." What are you talking about? So luckily my cardiologist is gonna let me see her next week. It's the NP, which is good, because that's other drama. A lot of times you can't get appointments right away to most of these places, whatever doctor you're trying to see. That's the thing about the oral surgeon I'm concerned about too. How long are they gonna make me wait? That's getting on my nerves. Can you tell? So that's the silver lining for today's after school special, kids. Just get up, dust yourself off, and even when you don't feel like it, because I don't feel like it, I'm very downy blues. That was very disparaging this morning. So, and I want to thank the universe for 500 milligram acetaminophen tablets that are available over the counter, because none of those 3 offices was willing to prescribe me any pain medication, knowing my situation. That's very disparaging too, because the 325 milligram, the normal dose, wasn't helping. And I did get some Oragel too, but you gotta be careful with Oragel. You get a tolerance to it pretty quick, but it has medicine in it, so I don't know. All I know is a week or so ago, I asked my staff to go I looked up on the grocery list online and get 500 milligram acetaminophen, and I always get the 4 times Oragel. Not always. This is a brand new problem. I thank God I've been lucky not to be plagued with tooth problems all my life. This is a new thing. So I don't know. I only did Oragel a couple times, so maybe it helped knock out whatever was left from that the antibiotics didn't. I don't know. So yeah, that's why I'm not freaking out, and I'm able to even make this video and talk and eat. I was eating yogurt and soft stuff, all soft kind of base foods, because the more chewing, the more pain later. And now I don't have to take it every day either. The super duper acetaminophen, I don't have to take that around the clock. It's been like maybe about once a day. So, okay, you guys, I hope you're okay. It's really crazy right now. Lots of things are going on that are, people are having such a hard time right now. A lot of people have short fuses. I've seen a lot of people lashing out at each other. Yeah, it's sad. So I am just trying to work on my temperament and be cool, and yeah, tired. I'm tired, you guys. I'm gonna rest. So thank you so much for your time. Hopefully I will be able to stick with my plan and do a My Name is Hallow show at least once a week, because there's a lot to talk about. This has probably been the craziest medical year I've had, and it's only half a year so far, you know. Well, now it's August, but it's finally started to calm down. So from January to June was the most times I've been to the ER in 1 month, in 1 year, half a year, just in the hospital admits. I feel the need to make this PS. Woo! And I gotta tell you too, the other part of it for me is this summer, for me, when I pictured, I always kind of look ahead, which there's a danger to that, because life happens in ways you don't necessarily know, which doesn't jive with what you envision you want to be doing. But this summer was supposed to be all about being healthier and getting out and performing. There's this super cool spooky cafe in the Fountain Square area of Indianapolis, which is the big metropolis in my area, and I've been dying to go there. And I've got a theremin player, the theremin guy. Check him out, y'all. He's on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Really awesome dude. And then my bandmate, who she plays violin, keyboard, open to lots of things. She can basically do anything, really. And then my main instruments are cello, glockenspiel, percussion, violin. So between all of us, we would be so awesome at this spooky coffee house with our spooky ways and spooky sounds. So that was a big goal, to get there. And then my bandmate wants us to go back to our roots. In the 90s, most of our gigs were in coffee houses or outside. And I'm totally down with that. The nature thing. Summer's a great time to, join up with market. There's a couple places in town, a couple groups in town that do markets. And I don't mind even just sitting outside an establishment. And we kind of like being the background music. We don't necessarily care about on stage with a spotlight on us and everybody paying attention to us. We like to be like in the corner, providing atmosphere while you enjoy your visit to this establishment. Or like some of the greatest concerts I've ever given was at a place called Future Shock, owned by a couple really amazing people. And they were in a couple different locations, and the time that they would let me perform at their second location, they had bought this really beautiful house that was on the canal in Broad Ripple. It's another place in Indianapolis. So this is the 90s. This was a long time ago. And it was so wonderful to play outside, because you're right there in nature too. You're in the middle of the city. And then I always, I played in the daytime when they're open. It wasn't nighttime or whatever. And so that area of town has different vibes. In the daytime, it's more people who like to walk and take their kids out, and more eclectic variety, where nighttime is more party, drinking, live music, pick up people for erotic pleasures. Or just drunken fun. So it's kind of a weird place too, where it had two different vibes. But I remember how great that was. One of the coolest things that ever happened was a guy was walking down the canal with his little kid, and I happened to be playing my cello at that time, and they stopped for a little bit. So the guy and the little kid watched me play my cello for a little bit, and that was so great. So great. Okay. Blah. So yeah, this isn't my summer. And well, my transportation drama, I have to be honest with myself about that too. Even when I get to a point where I have better stamina and I could actually do a concert, that's going to be really tricky. So I made a Twitch account earlier in the year. A theremin guy helped me learn about that. I learned about Twitch from him, watching his concerts, and I've got to start doing that. Just do Twitch concerts at home, just to get in the swing. And there's times in life when you can't do things the way you want to do them exactly, but figure out something where you get around the obstacle and you're doing a version of what you wanted to do. That's really satisfying. Ooh, look at that silver. God, I wish my whole head was like that. I really want a mohawk really bad. So I think next spring I'm gonna hawk it. I had a mohawk in the 80s in high school, and then I had a mohawk in the 90s when I was in my 20s. And I'm really itching to dye my hair too. Like what I want to do, I was looking at temporary colors just because there's so many colors I want to do. But my classic go-to is red and purple. So like have the crown, the top part be purple, and then the bottom section be red. That would be fierce as hell. But I also like green. The only black I like is blue black. It's got to be Wonder Woman blue black, or I don't want it, baby. So, all right, y'all. Keep looking for those silver linings. You might not get them exactly the way you want them, but it's good for our overall mood, I think. When you have hope for something, it helps you tolerate everything. I appreciate y'all. I really like YouTube. I appreciate all the great people making videos. Tanera Double Chocolate is so great. Her and Black TV need to absolutely, that's spelled BLAK TV, need to do a collab because he's got a great show called Food Crimes. He's an amazing gothic musician that we're lucky his home base in Indianapolis. He's a transplant like a lot of us are. But yeah, they have great shows showing us how everybody's so creative. That's her great tagline. And the Narrowway Homestead, I always enjoy that. Nate out in West Virginia. And oh God, I hate it when I can't remember people's names. There's a guy in Chicago that's a really awesome comedian. Great Chicago comedy. I just love it. It's the Wild West right now, y'all, where all you gotta do is put in the work. You don't have to be wealthy to make your art. That's the beautiful part of the age we live in right now. Back in the day, you needed a certain amount of capital to get things done. You didn't necessarily have to kowtow to record labels and shit, depending on what your goals were, but you still need money for flyers, equipment. You're always going to need money for equipment, of course, and maintain your instruments, but everything was so physical. Like if you wanted to record, you got to buy recording equipment or rent or pay someone to record for you. You got to get CDs and figure out how to do that. That required software, computers, and it blows my mind how I can pretty much do everything in my phone. That was my initial reason for creating this Halloweener YouTube account, was to have a way to make music, record music, and then I got into music videos, of course. My first ones are not really music videos, it's more just improv music. But I've had a lot of fun exploring all that too. And it doesn't cost anything. other than the initial price you're paying anyway to have your phone and be on the internet. And you're doing that anyway. Most of us, like, I resisted for many years having internet in my house. I would go to the library, or if a boyfriend had it, when I'm at his house, or friends. But the time I ended up getting it was in the pandemic when everybody's working at home. That's when I finally got it for real. But there's so much leisure pleasure you can get out of it too. But it's not all bad, the age we live in. There's lots of opportunity, but you have to do the work. So let me get off my artistic soapbox. Woo! I look forward to having energy. I haven't made hardly anything this year, art or music. Just haven't had the energy. But I appreciate everybody. I appreciate this independent spirit of YouTube and how it's all eclectic and all different kind of people make all different kind of content. It's awesome. Have a good summer, and hopefully I will talk to you next week.